Good morning. The key yesterday, trying to unpack an overs strategy. This is one I've got in mind. Back over 1.5 goal at evens. Now, coincidentally, yesterday, we got a Real Madrid goal in the 45th plus 3 minutes of the first half. We've got a Monaco goal 45th plus 3 minutes of the first half. Now, if you're backed over 1.5 goals at evens, you're out with 25 quid green. That's how impactful just a single goal is in this market. That's why it's far more appealing to me than over 2.5 goals, which is a bit of a slog to get to 3 goals. Dinamo Zagreb Monaco did the same yesterday. Even went 2.5 goals yesterday. What I tend to do, or what I'm experimenting with, is to back over 2.5 goals for my usual stake 40 quid, lay over 1.5 goals for my usual stake 40 quid, and your only troubling scorelines will be between over 1.5 goals and over 2.5 goals, which will be a 1-1, a 2-0, and a 0-2. Those are the troubling scorelines. They're on the cusp of overs, but they're not quite there. I found this to be a good way if you're looking at staying in overs, but I've had a few close shaves with 1-0s using this. So it's not really been that profitable. You need to get a 1-1 nice and early. So some real promise. And this is the youngsters. Lille against Real Madrid. Overs. And again, the unders. That was my experiment. Laying over 1.5, looking to back under 1.5 goals. So we've got 0-0, 1-0, 0-1, 1-1 covered. No, we haven't got 1-1 covered. We've got all the unders under 1.5 goals covered in case these two don't ignite. And then I back over 2.5 goals after 15 minutes. This is the ideal. You make a net profit. You can leave this, make a net profit. Your troubling scorelines are the ones in between over 1.5 goal and over 2.5 goal. That's why I'm not passing these strategies on to you just yet. I am trying to think out loud, but we've got the makings of a really good one. Over 1.5 goal at evens. If you can target that, matches where you expect goals. Aston Villa Bayern Munich. Well, this was the exception yesterday. Second half goal. Now, this is all about how do we exit, having backed over 1.5 goal at evens. When do we get out? When it's quiet. When do we get out? Third of liability is lost, perhaps. Something for you to have to think about. You don't really want to take a 100% loss ever. Benfica, absolute standout yesterday. But the reason I didn't take on any Benfica lead, and I did mention this to you on Telegram, you've got to look at the in-play stats. No shots on target. So despite the reputation, despite the excellent signings, not a trading team yesterday. Certainly Dinamo Zagreb should have taken them on. 2-0 up against Monaco. As you can see, the reaction from Monaco was excellent. Lille, Real Madrid, profitable play. We got that goal before half-time. Lay over 1.5 goals, back Real Madrid, lay Lille. It was an obvious one. And I think this was a managerial error yesterday. What on earth are you doing putting this man on the bench for an hour? Ancelotti, has he been taking coaching lessons from Joe Biden or something? Because it was an awful decision to make. Away from home as well. Overs very easily, Leipzig. Very poor performance from Leipzig, losing to 10 men, scoring a couple of goals after the red card. So those were the main matches yesterday. We had the nippers as well. So let's see if we can find the youngsters, because they did provide the potentials for overs with the exuberance of youth. Championship yesterday, no strong plays for me. Apart from I mentioned the first half goals in the Stoke match. I hope you followed that up, because I didn't pass it on with a screenshot. I just gave it a mention on Telegram. So I hope you're following these up personally if you want. Stoke straight out the blocks for newly promoted Portsmouth. If this enthusiasm continues, look to half-time markets. Half-time markets, what would you have done in a Stoke match? You could have laid the draw. You could have backed 1-0, 2-0, any unquoted in the half-time score market. Any unquoted? 3-1 in the half-time score market. That I was just sending the message at about this point here. Emphatic stuff from them. And let's look at the youngsters, the under-21s, the youth league. Should be full of goals, really. Liverpool 2-1. So plenty of these, I think, had just on the cusp of goal before half-time. I did play the Lille Real Madrid. I managed to get a profit out of that one. Again, delay, entry. If you can back over 1.5 goals at evens, ka-ching. So these youths have a reputation for goals, particularly if it's 0-0 at half-time. On to today, and I've done the research for you. The matches I've starred are the matches I personally think have the possibility of producing a couple of goals for us. Tottenham away could be very big odds, 1.5. Likely an 11-man defence for Ferencváros, playing with 11 goalkeepers today against the Tottenham side, who are purring after that win against Manchester United. Expecting first half goals from Hoffenheim today, so watch out for that angle. Lazio and Nice. Potential for Lazio to let loose here. Nice have put together some high-profile wins with the big scorelines, but for me, Lazio just look a little bit too savvy for Nice. Real Sociedad would be a potential play as well against Anderlecht. Potential for Anderlecht to crumble. Galatasaray full of goals. Ajax, not even favourite against Slavia Prague. It's a big injury list for Ajax. Possibility that there's some flu in the camp because there are a lot of absentees. Really big names as well for Ajax. If we can have a look, if we can get the team news somewhere. I saw it earlier, but I don't think I can find it. Major absentees today. Henderson out. A couple of the major strikers out. I found the information earlier on, but I can't seem to. We don't have the lineups yet. Oh, it could be at the base of this. No. Here, yes, it is. That's right. Weghorst out. Henderson out. Berghuis out. That's the reason I think Ajax are valued today, 3.8. Athletic Bilbao thoroughly favoured today. Been in excellent form in the Spanish La Liga. Besiktas could be outscored by Frankfurt today. We'll look on that one with interest. Roma might have too much nous for the Swedish side Elfsborg. Man United totally and utterly unreadable. So I'm not going to be touching that match with a barge pole. I expect Porto to be competitive. I expect Den Haag to be heading off to the job centre in Salford if he doesn't get anything out of this one. And Rangers and Lille, potential for Rangers to concede 2 or more goals. That's why I starred this one. Twente Fenerbahce. Well, it was a 1-1 against Man United for Twente. Fenerbahce, special one. Yes, they'll take a 0-1, but it could be a goals fest. Champions League for the Asians. All odds-on favourites, but liquidity is a big issue here. But I'll be practising my over 1.5 goal plays on these matches. Conference League is the other big competition today, and I've starred a number of matches with potential for goals. Hearts could be gettable. Heidenheim, the German Bundesliga side, could ignite with goals today. Real Betis have Spanish La Liga better than Poland for me. Molde, 1.08, should translate to goal. Part of the arc for Noah, the 600-year-old, in good nick at the moment. He's going to be parking the arc today. Get a couple of animals out there. Giraffe up front for the corners. A couple of cheetahs as running left backs. And stick a couple of gorillas as centre backs. And Noah will have the makings of a pretty decent side. Stick a lion in midfield and you're sorted. Panathinaikos against Borac Banja Luka, just based on the home side. Pana might be able to target goals. Chelsea certainly targeting goals today. Copenhagen. I thought Polish champions would be a lot more competitive than 6.5 outsiders. Fiorentina 1.04 goals against the Welsh champions, the new Saints. Last glimpse against Djurgården. I like Austrian Bundesliga as far as goals concerned. Could set that one alight. Lugano and HJK. Again, HJK might be found out outside of Finland. Shamrock Rovers could be gettable as well. Those are the main competitions today. We take a stroll through. You'll see there's not much else to add. Strong over 2.5 goal. Strong in-play stats bias from me today. Because these Champions League and Europa League, Conference League sides can be very tough to call, as advertised by some of the markets. Here, this one, 1, 2, 3, impossible to call. 4, so says the market, at least 5. About 5 of these market can't call. I'll see you from 5:45 onwards, members of footballtradingprofits.com. I'll see you on Telegram. And don't forget, try and see if you can spot a Real Madrid play. Let's see if I can get this for you. See if you can spot an opportunity like this. In a match where you fancy goals, it's getting to evens for over 1.5 goals. Back at evens. If we get an early second half goal or a goal at the end of the first half, we will be in profit. So look out for that scenario. Came in on 3 occasions in the Champions League last night. Have a great day. I'll see members of footballtradingprofits.com on Telegram throughout the day. Don't forget, if you want to have a look at overs yourself, footystats.org has an over 1.5 goal page under the stats section here. It's got an over 2.5 goal page as well. Soccerstats.com, of course, you know very well. Overs, goals for and goals against over 1.5 goal, 100% at home. That's what you want to see. And as you work your way down, total goals in a match, 67%, 2+. Goal times as well. Very important if you're playing the overs market. 2 goals scored in the first 15 minutes for Ipswich at home. But a big gap there, as you can see. If they don't score in the first 15, they might not score in the first half. Doesn't make for good overs playing that, does it? So you've got plenty of stats, of course, and they're unique to the Betfair markets as well. These stats, they marry in well with the Betfair markets. Football stats at whoscored.com. Statistics. I haven't really found any overs or unders, but you've got defensive, offensive, all team stats, form, but we don't really have a strong indicator for goals. Fail to score, I suppose, if sides can't keep clean sheets, then we'd be looking at the possibility of a play as well. So this is not strongly focused on specific over stats. So have a look at the statistics section at Who Scored. I thought they did have a 2.5 goal section. I'll see if I can find it. But have a look at whoscored.com. It's totally free. I like the top facts of the day. You can get them here. That will give you the strongest stats for each match. So have a look over this if you can find it useful. But these stats for me are more for spread betting. Tackles per game, if you're taking the spread betting choice there. So this whoscored.com for me, a lot more useful for spread bettors. But does it have any research here for the actual match? Here we go. This might be where you'll find your statistics. So we've got Bet Builder. That'll give you an idea of what they fancy. Predictions, correct score. And this is the recent form. Betting. There we go. So this might be something for you to look at. So let's have a look. Goal scoring. 2.5 goal, 100%. Under and over. All right. Okay. Over 1.5 goals. Maccabi Tel Aviv and Midtjylland. So that'll give you an idea of what to expect over 1.5 goals wise at whoscored.com if you want to look more in depth. But I think there has to be a certain stop-off point, because you can research matches all day long. And quite simply, it's what happens in play, isn't it? That's all that counts. What happens in play. Previews. I'm not sure if we'll have an over 2.5 goal in the previews. You can have a look. They're completely free yet again. Sociedad against Anderlecht. So is this a write-up? Is this going to give us a hint at goals? We've got missing players, team news prediction. Right, 2-1. So if you want to take that as a suggestion for an over 1.5 goal, over 2.5 goal play, by all means do. There's no right or wrong way to collect your information or collect your shortlist. Top facts. I like this, particularly at a weekend. Lazio have won the last 3 matches against Nice in all competitions. That's a good angle, isn't it? Fluminense have lost their last 3 matches. So we've got some snapshots of teams in form and out of form. Many more. You could just over 2.5 goals, and you're probably going to get, there we go, over 2.5 tips. How about that? A specific website for overs. Over 2.5 tips. I don't know what the strike rate is, but this could again provide you with a shortlist. They've gone with Besiktas Frankfurt. I thoroughly agree with that. Saw Frankfurt at the weekend with that 4-2. Lugano HJK, possibilities here. Over 2.5 goal predictions for upcoming matches at over25tips.com. Napoli under Conte now, keeping clean sheets. Dortmund St. Pauli, yes, all day long. Best teams for over 2.5 goal plays today. Lion City Sailors, Hunters, Galatasaray, I would agree with. Heidenheim, possibilities that the Bundesliga side could strike goals-wise. Tottenham, I would agree with that. I would agree with Frankfurt. So up to you. You can use over25tips.com. I don't, it's not a recommendation. I don't know anything about this lot. I don't know what the strike rate's lot. But boy, if you want to focus on over 2.5 goals, they've done all the work for you. Over25tips.com. So that's a nice simple Google search if you're looking at neutral plays. Free super tips is riddled with adverts. And again, it's another person's perspective in a write-off, if you fancy that. But you can look, win, draw, win. That's what I was getting mixed up with. Who scored? Sorry. Win, draw, win have the 2.5 goal stats. Yeah, not whoscored.com. They both began with W. That's what threw me. So let's have a look. Over 2.5 goals. Best leagues for 2.5 goals would be great. So who scored? Windrawwin.com. Win, draw, win. Who are the best teams for overs? You can see that when they're playing as well. Next league games. So that is an excellent website to have on your side. If neutral overs is starting to interest you, as you can see, the potential to profit from leagues or matches we wouldn't normally target. I think that's the key. And look at this, perfect. Windrawwin.com/statistics. Over 1.5, over 2.5. Now, I would be going in the over 2.5 goal market for my shortlist to attack the over 1.5 goal market. We're looking for 3 goals or more. So, Balestier, Calcer, you can see when they're playing as well. Now, they don't give us an option to change it around. These are all for the 5th and the 6th, a lot later on. And you can do overs by league as well. So an excellent little website. Windrawwin.com. Over25tips.com. So plenty going on. If you're interested, footy stats, a specific overs market. Now, I don't know the strike rate for these either, but you can see it. Porto, 7 out of 7 matches over 1.5 goals. But don't forget, is this translatable into the Europa League? Sporting Lisbon. So some teams from leagues which are liquid. Schalke, FC Köln, Spal, second tier, Galatasaray, Sporting, Porto. So they are in leagues we can trade. So plenty going on. have a look around these websites. Members of footballtradingprofits.com, as I say, see you at 5:45 p.m. and let's see if we can continue solving the overs/neutral issue.